Good day, gentlemen. I've been with my girlfriend for over 5.5 years, and I want to give you some maybe unconventional advice that nobody else has given you so far, because everyone else is too afraid to talk about this. But if I'm being honest, a couple of years ago, if I didn't learn what I'm about to teach you, my relationship would have 100% ended. From my side, I would have 100% broken up with her, even though she was a great woman that I wanted to be with long term. The thing is this, doubting your relationship keeps you stuck. It keeps you stuck in a relationship where you're like, this is not perfect and you can't go further, you can't go deeper with this girl. But it also keeps you, from pursuing another woman because you're still in this relationship, right? And because you're just on the fence about things. It doesn't force you to break up. It also doesn't get you to actually build the relationship you want. You're kind of stuck in this middle zone where you don't make any progress, because neither is it good nor is it bad. Bad being you had to change something, right? The thing is this. Relationships are the most important thing in our lives. Relationships are the things that give our lives texture and zest and life. And we can be all masculine and say, no, I'll just focus on my purpose, I'll focus on my business, I'll focus on this and that. But at the end of the day, all those things get routinely. And yes, there is a lot of excitement for me in my business, 100%. But relationships, or specifically my romantic relationship, that's the thing that really gives my life, like I said, texture. And I think it's the same for you. You know, if I'm being honest, I was unsure a couple of years ago whether I wasn't just wasting time in this relationship. Whether I shouldn't just be out and about in the world, searching for women, building my business, whatever it was. And these thoughts made me feel really shameful, made me feel really guilty. Because why was I thinking in this way of my girlfriend, who I saw as a very great person, right? And I almost felt disrespectful in that moment. But what I want to tell you is, it is normal to be in that situation. This is something that most people who get into their first or second or third long-term relationship, they go through this. But most people also give up when this happens. And so they keep going from one relationship to the next, to the next, to the next. I've worked through this now. And I'm in an amazing 5.5-year relationship that will probably, most likely, hopefully, go on for a lot longer. Why do I say hopefully? Like, I'm certain that it will go on for a lot longer than this. So I want to give you some science, some psychology, and also some actionable steps and pieces of advice, some nuggets that will really help you go through this situation and work through these doubts as quickly as possible. Because the thing is this, the longer you stay here, the worse it gets. Because if you doubt something, what does your brain do? Your brain looks for more reasons why you should doubt whatever you're doubting. So if you're doubting your girlfriend, you're doubting your relationship, you're like, should I really be here? Am I not just wasting time here? There's a ladybug on my camera. Now it just flew away. That was cute. If you doubt this, what your brain does, your brain interprets that as the goal, because your brain is a goal-striving mechanism. Your brain will always, I learned this from Maxwell Maltz, who wrote Psycho-Cybernetics, the book, and at the end of the day, our brain is a goal-striving mechanism, meaning our brain will always help us with the ideas and get us to the actions that lead to us reaching a certain goal that we have made up in our mind. The problem, though, is the small inconsistency the small problem that our brain has, though, is that our brain always interprets the thing we think about most as the goal. So if you think about your relationship in a way where you doubt it 90% of the time, then your brain will want consistency with that, meaning your brain will look for more reasons why you should doubt that relationship. And then it becomes more and more negative. It's a downward spiral. And to be completely honest with you, when I first noticed myself having these negative thoughts, having these doubts, I became a lot more negative in general. Even though I noticed it consciously, I was like in this downward spiral. And the thing is this, why are we uncertain about anything? Why are we uncertain about a relationship or anything else? People always put a relationship on this pedestal and say like, oh no, you can't think about it pragmatically, and I don't want to think about it pragmatically, but at the end of the day, pragmatically, such a hard word to pronounce. I'm German, by the way, so sometimes my English isn't perfect. But at the end of the day, Let's look at a bigger decision you have to make in life. Maybe moving to a different country for a couple of years. Would you have zero doubts about that if you never actually pragmatically, consciously, objectively reflected on this decision and on what to do here? No, of course you would still be uncertain, right? Same exact thing is true for your relationship. You're still uncertain. And the thing is this, like I said, we don't want to look at our relationship pragmatically and objectively. We don't want that. And more importantly, we don't want to uncover something that we don't like to see. We don't like to reflect on something that could cause us pain, right? We don't want to start reflecting on our relationship and figure out, hey, this is actually not what I want. I have to make the hard decision of breaking up here. The thing is this, if you have both of these fears right now, at the end of the day, what's worse? Is it short-term pain of maybe having to break up, maybe realizing, hey, this is not the situation I want to be in? Or is it long-term pain and long-term regret? I stayed in this relationship for way too long. I should have gotten out 3 years ago, but now we're married and we have a child and all that kind of stuff, right? And the thing is this, of course the short-term pain is not as bad as the long-term regret. But there are reasons why you two got attracted to each other. And there are reasons why you stayed together until now. And usually, for 90% of people, I've seen this with myself, with my friends, with my clients now, they usually have more reasons to stay together than to break up. And pragmatic reasons, not just emotional attachment to each other, right? Because they had reasons to get together in the first place. They had reasons to stay together. So most people, when they do this, when they reflect, they will figure out, hey, this relationship is actually much better than my brain made it out to be. And that's exactly what happened to me. I reflected on this for hours, on the perfect woman that I want by my side, and then does my girlfriend match that? And there were a few points where I was like, no, this just doesn't work completely, right? But nothing that wasn't either fixable or okay to deal with. Honestly, there was nothing that was okay to deal with. There was nothing where I was like, I'll just ignore this. Everything was fixable. For example, our love life really suffered a couple of years ago when my girl got off birth control and literally lost her period for 8 months completely. She didn't have her period for 8 months because those artificial hormones, no surprise, screwed with her true hormones so much that her body went into alarm mode, it shut down all her reproductive systems in that way, right? And so of course she also didn't have a sex drive at that time, which caused a lot of turmoil in the relationship, I'm not gonna lie. But the thing is this, we have worked through all of this ever since I realized that these things are problems. We tackled those problems. But to be able to tackle those problems, you first have to see those problems. Now, before I give you even more advice, if your relationship right now feels like it's kind of dying, but you don't want it to die, you want to build this strong, loving, passionate relationship with this girl that you're with right now, then what you can always do is you can join our free community. It's linked in the description, check it out. The thing is this, there's this Albert Einstein quote that I really, really love and that I've honestly taken to heart in most pursuits in my life. And it goes something like, if you give me an hour to solve a problem, I will spend 55 minutes defining the problem, because then I only need 5 minutes to find the solution. And pretty much what this means is spend 55 minutes asking yourself the right questions. Because once you've asked yourself the right questions, or find someone that can ask you the right questions. This is a reason why I recently built a so-called problem awareness course for my paid clients, because it really helps them figure out what they actually struggle with, right? People think, oh, this is what I struggle with, but they struggle with these 3 things over here, right? And because I know which questions to ask them, once I ask them the right questions, they can find the answer to those questions in 5 minutes and then solve the problem. And by the way, this is not a one-time thing. This is something that I, with my relationship, do over and over again. Every time I have these doubts, at least, sometimes also just randomly, I reflect on my relationship. I reflect on how I feel, how it's going. And most men make this mistake here, especially men make this mistake here of thinking, does she like me? Is she satisfied? Does she do this? Do I fit into her life? It's okay to ask yourself those questions, but more importantly, you should ask yourself, does she fit into my life? Is she the woman that I want to be with? Does she fulfill my needs? Because that's what you should actually reflect on, because that's what you can give an honest opinion on. You can't read her mind. You can't figure out just by yourself whether she's satisfied. You can see signs that she's maybe not satisfied or satisfied, but what you can definitely do is say, hey, I'm not satisfied because this, and this. That's what you can actually figure out, right? And this is, like I said, a continuous process. Do this over and over again. Do this one time, big, couple of hours of reflection, and then do it over and over again every time you have these doubts, or just randomly throughout your free time. This will massively, massively help you already. Now, one thing, and this is so powerful, you have no idea how powerful this actually is if you haven't tried it yet. What you can also do is you can brainwash yourself to achieve the thing that you want to achieve. If you want to achieve a great relationship with this girl that you're with, and by the way, this is advice that I've only so far given my clients, so pay attention here. People pay a lot of money for this information usually. What you can do is, you can brainwash yourself for what you want to achieve. Do you want to break up with this girl? Probably not. So why are you brainwashing yourself unintentionally to doubt the relationship, to see all these negative sides? Why don't you just brainwash yourself to see the positive sides of this relationship? There's this parable of the two wolves that live inside of you, the good wolf and the bad wolf, right? Which one survives? The answer is the one you feed. This is so powerful because at the end of the day, can you control your thoughts? Can you think of a pink elephant right now? Yes, you can. You have the power to control your thoughts. So why do you... These fucking flies, man. So why do you let your head or your mind give you thoughts that you actually don't want, that actually don't lead you to your goal? Now, 100%, this is a skill that you should learn. This is a skill that you need to develop and that you need advice on to develop. It's not just something where you're like, oh, I can control my thoughts, so now I can do it. There's a bit more self-awareness to it, 100%, and it takes some time to develop this. But it is so, so powerful because what you're doing right now, unconsciously, is you're letting your brain determine the outcome, instead of determining the outcome to your brain that you want to achieve. And then, you need to speak about these doubts with your woman. And of course, that's not going to be easy. It's going to be very uncomfortable to have this conversation or these conversations with her. If you want more help on that, I won't just talk about it in this video because it would take way too long. But if you want specific help on that, what you can do is you can join our free community. It's kind of like a forum, but obviously more modern, where there's a lot of men in there, over 120 men by now, who all help each other with building a deep, secure, thriving relationship with their women. Most of these men are from 20 to 30 years old, and they're all ambitious, striving. There's no lazy guys in there because they wouldn't join something like this, right? At the end of the day, it has really become a mastermind group where we help each other, and there's a whole post category in there with, like, I don't know, 30, 40 posts probably from myself and from other men on how to have difficult conversations. So check that out. It takes like a minute to sign up. It's completely free. I pay money to run this community because I think it is so important that young men especially get education on how to be a good lover, how to be a good boyfriend, how to be a good husband. Because you've went through 12 years of education, but neither your parents, nor your teachers, nor anyone else has given you good advice on how to actually be in a relationship that works well and how to lead that relationship well, right? So if you're interested in not only that, but a lot of other topics regarding relationships that we talk about in there, then you can go ahead and join. Like I said, it takes like a minute to sign up. There's a link in the description. I'm excited to see you in there and have you a part of the family. So yeah, I'll see you in there. Have a good day, man. I'll see you soon. Bye.